Comics are awesome. Berzerker's got everything that you want from a comic book. It's got great drawings, colors, great story. It's got action, has a little romance, and it's about something.
Wait, what? Keanu Reeves has a comic book coming out? Yes! Yes, please! Hey guys, and welcome back. Today, let's have a quick chat about the Kickstarter Beserker. Now, this looks really interesting. I'm not saying the story hasn't been done before, because I know that there's a lot of comics that has done a very similar line, such as Old Guard. And I'm mentioning this because it's the last thing I watched on Netflix that is a comic book adaptation, and it's very good. 100% recommend. However, I am saying that I like the style of it. I like that they're not frightened to use a little bit of blood. They're not frightened to put out that grittiness. It looks really well drawn. It looks well coloured. I don't know about the storyline because I haven't read it, although it is piquing my interest. I really enjoy comics that have that sort of old aesthetic brought into modern day, and I can't describe it, and I'm pretty sure that if you go to the Kickstarter page, read through it all, you'll understand what I mean. I'll put a few pages on here as I talk anyway. So the story on the Kickstarter page does say that the man known only as Berzerker is half mortal and half god, cursed and compelled to violence, even at the sacrifice of his sanity. But after wandering the world for centuries, Beserker may have finally found refuge, working for the US government to fight the battles too violent and too dangerous for anyone else. In exchange, Beserker will be granted the one thing he desires, the truth about his endless blood-soaked existence, and how to end it. That has really piqued my interest, and it's given me enough information for me to be able to decide if I'm going to enjoy this comic book, but not enough to spoil the whole series. I've got a general idea what it's going to be about because I've read so many different comic books, and I generally read comic books that are very similar to this or along the same storyline. So I've got a general idea of how it's going to end. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like this is going to be very interesting, specifically because Keanu Reeves is co-writing it, and he's done a lot of different films, but acting. So I'm not saying he's a great director and he's a great writer, because I don't think he's done any of that. I could be completely wrong, don't get me wrong. But I feel like he's got enough experience on working with great writers and great directors that he might be able to put some of their insights into the comic. I could be talking complete and utter BS, but I feel like he could bring a very interesting perspective into this comic. So I feel like it's kind of unique in that certain way, but I could be wrong. I could be completely biased because I really enjoy Keanu Reeves' acting and his films. So that's just me putting that out there. And one thing I want to mention is the artwork. Now, the artwork, I've seen a few different art pieces on the Kickstarter, but some of them really stand out, and I'm like, wow, okay, that looks really nice, and I'm going to put it on screen just so you can have a look. I really like the colours, I like the whole shading, I like everything about it. And then some of the other pages look very dynamic, and I like that too. Do you know what? I haven't seen a bad art style on the Kickstarter page yet, so I am quite intrigued. I'm not going to read out all the Kickstarter tier lists, but the first one does start out quite expensive at $50 US. However, you do get 3 graphic novels from it. There are loads and loads of tiers to pick from. They are a little bit expensive, like I said, but people are backing them. And on the note of money and Kickstarter, it has had a lot of backlash. You wouldn't think that it would, but so far it hasn't even been a week, and people are giving very negative opinions on it. And it's not because of the art style, the content, or anything to do with the actual comics itself. It's to do with Boom Studios. A lot of different news outlets are saying very, very similar things. One of them states, in a recent interview, Boom Studios boss Ross Ritchie said, "We're not kickstarting Berzerker. We're not raising money. We've got the money for it." This was probably meant to highlight how they're using Kickstarter as a sales platform rather than a traditional crowdfunder. However, it also suggests a double standard for how Boom will treat a Keanu Reeves' project versus a normal comic from a team of underpaid freelancers. So Boom Studios has definitely shot themselves in the foot by saying that they can more than afford to create this comic book without the backing of Kickstarter. I think that they are a little bit money hungry, and I can understand where people are hating on Boom Studios because it just feels like it's a cash grab and they're using Keanu Reeves and his celebrity status to bring in that cash. However, I do have to say that this comic book looks really, really good. So yeah, I'm going to be buying that comic book because I like the art style, I like the plot of what I can see so far. It all looks very, very promising. Everything on the Kickstarter page makes me want to buy this series. Apart from the cost is a little bit steep, but I can't afford the higher tiers, so I'm just going to stick with tier 1 and get the first 3 issues. If you want me to review it, let me know. And I completely understand if you don't want to back it because you're not a fan of Boom Studios and how they are treating their underpaid freelance employees. I completely get that. But I'm here because I like the storyline. I like the art style. I like everything about the comic. It's all about the product for me personally. If the publishers had done something really, really bad, then I wouldn't go there. It's bad, but it's not bad enough for me to not want to buy this comic and support Keanu Reeves and support the artists and support the writers. It's literally just the studio, the Boom Studio, that I don't like. And if it was an okay-ish story and it was just Keanu Reeves in there, I'd probably be on the fence. But because it looks so good, I'm happy to support it. And I'm happy to support anything that looks like it has good artwork and a good storyline, as long as the creator isn't a complete and utter creep. You know what I mean, right? So I am very hyped for this series coming out. Let me know your opinions on Boom Studios, Keanu Reeves looking at comic books and getting himself involved in comic books, and any other opinions that you might have. So that is it from me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye guys!
So check it out. If you do, I hope you enjoy it. Berzerker, Boom Studios.